everybody, I'm Eric the Counselor.
And I'm Des Perry.
This is a lifestyle show
About improving your mental health.
You ready?
Let's experience mental health.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to another edition of Experience Mental Health, the podcast. I am your host, Eric the Counselor. I'm feeling great today.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
I'm in a black mood today. You know, I listened to Beyonce Black Parade on the way here. I listened to Buddy Black.
You just feeling black.
I'm just
you so black. You ain't even let me introduce myself yet. You so black. What's going on? The co-host Des Perry right here. What's going on, Eric? So we already know how you feeling.
Yes, sir.
You know we already know, and that's a beautiful feeling to wake up in the morning and just feel good in the skin that you in. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely feel the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a great morning. I'm looking forward to the day. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the first
you got
things.
a haircut recently.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I wasn't going to point it out. I wasn't going to point it out or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I just took the do-rag off. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't going to point that out too much. But, I got to get up in that shop. At least I don't go every week no more, but maybe every 2 weeks or so. You may catch me up in there. So got to stay fresh. You
got to learn how to cut your own hair. Like last night, me and my son were in the bathroom, and I'm the only person that's ever cut his hair. And he had the clippers. I let him hold the clippers. Would put a big guard on it so he can kind of act like he's cutting his own hair. So he's learning at the age of 2. You got to learn how to take care of yourself.
No, because
we pay somebody for everything.
No, really. I had a bad experience. I had a bad experience with that growing up. That I tried to cut my own hair. I took my daddy's clippers, didn't use a guard,
and was bald.
Brother, it was bad. I had to go to school the next day with a hat on my head. Teachers wouldn't let you wear no hat on your head. Yeah. So you had to take it off. God.
Your daddy should have went on here and faded.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it no more. You know what I'm saying? That's the traumatic time in my life. I don't want to bring that up.
Okay, well, let's let that go.
Yeah, we're going to let that go because we definitely have an exciting show. Today, we got one of our good friends, somebody who has definitely been a part of the show in the past. I don't know if a lot of our listeners has been caught up with our previous show, the Morning Huddle podcast, but he is a native of Atlanta, Georgia, a huge advocate for human development and a chief catalyst for social and culture change. And he serves as the creative director for Mount Zion Anywhere virtual campus. Give it up, everybody, for Dacari Middlebrooks.
What's up, y'all? I'm so excited to be with you.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, it's good to have you back on the show with us. Dacari, man, you that dude, man. Since you've been on the show, you've come to TSU and you've shared your story with college students. Yeah. I think, how many times do we have you there?
Twice. Yeah, I did it in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, man. And I know, man, the students loved it. I could just feel the energy. And one of the things you said, which, I don't know, it just sticks out to me. One day you were like, you know what? I look like I can be right here in the mix with y'all. You were just talking about how youthful you look, even though you're probably old enough to be some of their daddies, which is kind of weird.
Oh, and you know what's funny? That's true because I just turned 30. I just turned 37 in July, and I was just sharing with my girlfriend that I was looking on Facebook, and a few of my high school classmates have college students.
College age kids.
And I was like, I'm behind.
I didn't
start till I was 32. So like my son just turned 5 last Monday. So
my daughter turned 5 last Tuesday on the 18th. What was that, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, he's the 17th, Monday.
Our kids are 1 day apart.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. At the same time.
Man, what hospital was he born in? Nashville?
He was born in Atlanta. He was at Emory.
Yep, man. My daughter was born here in Nashville. That's cool. But listen, man, we got a very important topic today that we're going to be discussing. We're going to be talking about, we're just going to have a general conversation around suicide rates among men. And people are going to be able to hear your story and they'll soon understand why we have you on the show. But I want to talk about why we decided to have the show. Des and I, we posted a post on our EMH Now Instagram page. And I'm looking at it now. We posted a post. I don't know how long ago was this. This was just August the 10th is actually the exact date. And we just posted a post that we didn't create this post. We're just sharing it, right? And it was a post that had some statistics about men and suicide. And so the post had this information on it that 84 men a week take their own life. 84 men every week take their own lives. 75% of all suicides are males. 25% of men live with a mental illness, and men are less likely to get help. Now, the reason we are highlighting this particular post, because it's kind of like going viral. Like, of all the posts that we've been posting over the years of us having,
we got the most engagement on it.
Let me share with you the engagement. So this particular post had 3,666 likes, 128 comments. It has been shared 3,362 times, and it's also been saved. Like, people have saved this 1,057 times, and so that's like.
Well, it's about to be 63.
What was that?
I said it's about to be another because I'm about to share it too.
Yeah, man. It's like all day long, man. People are liking this post and engaging with it. And we were calling each other like, hey, man, did we do anything special
right.
to the post? Or is this like a boosted post or something? But it's not. And the funny thing is we've posted this post before and it didn't get this type of activity. But the fact that it got this much activity now is really making us – it's just like, hey, let's do a show about it. And let's bring Dacari back so that, you know, we can just have a real one-on-one conversation about suicide, and especially as it relates to us men. Now, I think the statistics are that I think white males make up the biggest population of men who commit suicide. But that doesn't mean it's not affecting us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why we brought you in today, Dacari. I want to just kind of give you an opportunity to share your journey. I know I've been suicidal at one point in my life back in 2004 when my sister passed away. Just the pressure from all of that, you know what I'm saying? I had to bury my sister. I had to plan her funeral. And I really didn't get a real chance to mourn her death in the midst of it because I was just so busy. My mom was in another country when my sister died. And it was just like I was living in a whirlwind. And so once all of that calmed down after the funeral, I just had a bad time, man. I just had a really bad mental breakdown. I was living in Nashville. I still live here. I was living downtown in a high-rise apartment building. And I contemplated, I was in a windowsill on the 8th floor, about to jump out of my window. I don't think I've even told you this, Dacari. And so that's a part of my story. And the reason I was going to jump out of the window is because maybe a week or two prior, one of my neighbors who lived in the building, he jumped out of his window and committed suicide. And so when I was in my darkest moment, for some reason, that's what came to mind. Just open up this window, and I was standing in a windowsill. It was probably about a 7-foot windowsill. Not windowsill, but a 7-foot window. You know those tall windows?
Yeah.
I'm just standing in the window, and then there's something clicked in my mind. It's like, I'm not ready to die. That's the only thing that just clicked in my mind. I'm not ready to leave. And then it was just like, I don't know what happened. It was like I snapped out of it, and I was like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? And so I got out of the window, and I just moved on. Not necessarily moved on, but I called my mom, and, you know, there's a story after that. But I know what it's like to be in that position. You know what it's like, Dacari, to be in that position. And that's really what I would like for you to share. Just share your story about how you found yourself in that place and what you did to overcome it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you talk about I'm big with dates. And so I always look at how God will bring people together in different seasons. It's fascinating. You talk about 2004, because that's really, I think that's when I really started experiencing this. This is when I think I really started. And I didn't talk about this in my book. Just hearing you say that, Eric, made me think back. I date myself starting in 2005, but it really happened in 2004. 2004, I had a really bad experience with my godfather, who's pastor. He and I fell out, and I love him to death. And unfortunately, he passed in January of this year. And I think I'm still reeling from not truly mending that relationship to the point where he actually came to me in a dream about a week and a half ago and hugged me. It was crazy. I knew he was dead, but he hugged me. And I think for me, it was like, wow. And it's funny, his daughter texted me this morning, something of 2004 that we did. And so, make a long story short, during that period, it was 2004, he and I fell out in April. In May of 2004, me and my best friend, we were robbed at gunpoint. Never experienced anything like this. Gun to my head, one to my head, one in the back of my neck. And my best friend, I remember him saying to me, he said to the guys that were robbing us, he said, look, we'll get you anything that you need. just don't kill my friend. Because they, like I said, they had the guns on me. You fast forward a year later, and this is when I date my depression. June 27, 2005, my best friend that was in the car with me in 2004, he was murdered in 2005. Wow. And I remember there were moments, and I was supposed to be with him. I was actually headed to his house that night, but I decided not to go to the skating ring. We went to a Cascade skating ring like the movie in ATL. Yeah. We really went there every Sunday. It was a real thing in Atlanta. And I literally I got extremely tired because my cousin just had a baby, and she brought the baby over to my grandparents' house, and I started playing with the baby, lost track of time. And I literally passed this exit on the way. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go. I actually texted his brother or called his brother, said, I'll just see y'all tomorrow. And when I woke up, that's when I received the news. But I remember the same words, and I think this is where it started, the same words that he used in 2004. I felt like I couldn't use those words for him in 2005. Whatever you do, I'll get you what you need. Just don't kill my friend. Yeah, I couldn't return that favor. And that was the start of me wrestling with depression. I was a very excited kid. I was the guy in the crew. Although we got into a lot of trouble, I was the funny one. I was the one, even if we got into situations where we were about to fight, I'm the one that would stop the situation. Like, look, man, we don't have to do that. You know, I'm the one that's going to try to stop it before it get wild because I know my crew. So I was a very excited and happy guy, fun guy, and I literally went into a shell. So for 3 years, I was depressed, but I didn't know. It wasn't until I moved to Nashville and told one of my counselors. Well, actually, it was an advisor at Vanderbilt. She said, it's a white lady. She says, Dacari, I think you need to go to therapy. And I remember saying, Black people don't go to therapy. We just pray about it. And I realized then, she said, no, son, you need to get some help based on what you're talking about. While I'm in therapy dealing with my best friend, now this is a real interesting part about faith. I'm in divinity school, studying about God, reading stories about Jesus being a healer, all of these amazing things, right? And I'm in divinity school, and the only guy that's been a father figure, well, I can't say the only guy that's been a father figure, but the main father figure in my life was my grandfather. He's dying of cancer. So I'm in therapy, wrestling with my best friend, and here I am 216 miles away in Nashville. And my grandfather, because before I moved, they had got all the cancer. That's what they said. Mm-hmm. I moved in August of 2007. September 2007, my grandfather, the cancer comes back and it's aggressive. By November, I come home for Thanksgiving. I was in the room and the doctor said, we've done all we can do. February of 2008, my grandfather passed. So I'm wrestling with faith, my best friend, and I tell a story. When you're going through so much hell and trouble in your life, you usually do something crazy, right? To kind of, some people turn to drugs, some people turn to alcohol. I got married.
That's what you turn to.
He's like, you do something crazy.
You know what's funny though? It's not funny. When I was going through my sister's death, I promise you I proposed to this girl.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, like, Mom, I'm about to get married. She's like, and my mom was in her darkest days of her life, but she had enough cognitive awareness to say, son, you don't want to do that. Because I just met this girl. There's no reason that I would want to marry her. But that's the thing that came to my mind. Let me get married.
Yeah, it's this sense of like, is life leaving or fleeting, right? You're like, am I about to miss? Because everybody, like, when I think about my grandfather, I remember sending him right before it, because he called me to come home. I never forget, it was February the 13th. I had just put my car, I never forget, in the shop on Charlotte. It was the Firestone right there on White Bridge, actually.
Yeah.
I literally
was just there recently, actually.
Yeah, I had just put my car in the shop, and my grandfather calls and says, can you come home tonight? And I said, huh? And I end up, my mom and my sister, and here I am, I don't have no money. My mom and my sister, they bought me a plane ticket. I flew Delta the next day, and my grandfather told me, he says, I've lived a long time. I called you to come home because tonight I was planning on taking myself off of my machine. Man. And luckily he didn't do it, but he ended up trying. I remember telling him, I said, God don't need no help, and I remember him transitioning. I told him I'd be home the next week. And by that Wednesday, I told him I was coming home that following weekend, but he passed on a Wednesday. And I remember just sitting there thinking, life is weird. It's rough. And now I go through this period, y'all. I get married and I'm happy. I got a new job. I graduated divinity school. I'm finally getting a salary. Now, am I excited about the salary? No way. Because when you're a millennial, you go to school, you get education, you come out, and you're thinking, well, I had 2 degrees from 2 credible institutions. One, going to HBCU, let's be clear. I don't care what school you go to in HBCU. They teach us that we're great. Now, do we have our flaws, HBCUs and all that? Absolutely. Financial aid, liners, loan. We get all of that, right? There's some register errors. We get all of that. But one thing they teach you to value blackness. And I went to Morehouse. And, I mean, we had this thing called Crown Forum. Every Thursday, there was a special guest. And, I mean, I was there. I saw Ray Charles, man. I saw Oprah. She came twice while I was in school. I saw some amazing thinkers and speakers, people that you just look up to. And so you started to value who you are. And so here I am feeling good about myself, leaving one institution. And then I come to a majority institution in Vanderbilt. And I'm saying, surely, with Morehouse and Vanderbilt behind my name on paper, I got to at least give me
you
$60.
in there.
Get something. Y'all got to give me $60. Come on now. Come on now.
And you get hit with like, what's this?
Yeah.
It's not that you're ungrateful, but you're like, this isn't panning out. Like, I understand,
How much was you getting, Dacari?
I was right at like 43, 44,000.
43. All right. That's kind of like I call it like entry level professional.
As soon as you fresh out of college, you got to work your way up.
Fresh out of undergrad. Because let me tell you, now I recognize this too. We were coming off of I was going to say, what is it called? Recession.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so we were in that period. So you're talking about 2008 to about 2011. Yeah. I understand the economy was trying to get back to where it was. Barack was going to his second term almost. And so I get that. I think when you graduate, because I graduated in 06 from Morehouse, so I was right into the heart of that depression period where, like another Great Depression, where college students weren't getting jobs.
Right.
I had a couple of line brothers who they went to Wall Street. So I'm hearing that they're getting bonuses, $10,000 bonuses, and they're making about $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Yeah. So in my mind, now I'm not in the financial space, but other friends, they were making 50 and 60 right out the gate for 1 degree. I'm thinking as I get a master's in the field that I'm working in, because, a lot of us get masters, we don't even use them. I know guys and girls got masters. Like, I just went back to school because I was trying to figure it out. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm in the field that I'm working in. And then I think and then this is the struggle piece with my depression. Now I'm forced to submit to people who don't have the same skill set as I. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. You're on a job and you're working for people. You're saying, I'm not trying to be an elitist here, but I am saying I've done the work. And now I have to submit to you. You make more money than me, but it's funny. There are people making more money than me, but they were threatened by my gift. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can have the gift. Give me the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can have it. If I can give this to you, I would rather have your salary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, for real. And so I started wrestling with, why is it that now I'm in a church space trying to help an organization? Because I was the youngest on the executive team per se. And I'm working with Bishop Walker, and I'm literally traveling the country, meeting a lot of great people. And I'm saying, one, I'm not fully satisfied financially, but also I'm working with people that don't want me here. Yeah. They're like, why are you here? You're bringing new ideas. Now Bishop is leaning on you to come up with new things. And people are like, now we've always done it like this. So I'm really struggling here on top of still not really dealing. I'm going to therapy, but I'm not really dealing with my issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so here it is between 2011 and 2014. I get to a point where I'm extremely frustrated. I wanted to quit the church. I had really resigned in my mind and said, you know what? You all can have this. I'm not going to fight with people who I feel, one, you're not smarter than me, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like I said, it's not like a sense of arrogance. It was just like, I put in the work. And anybody, anytime you put in the work, you all do. Eric, you do this. You put in the work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, I've done my part. And I'm not going to fight with people who ain't done it.
Right. Right. Like, I feel that, man. I feel that, like, because, like I said, even for myself, and I feel like it's just because, I mean, a lot of people that you was working with in the church, I'm assuming that they were older than you. You know what I'm saying? So they're a lot older than you, not just a few years, but, I feel like it's a generational thing, you know, when you're dealing with people that are like, what is it, Generation X or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And us, or the baby boomers, and we as millennials got these new ideas. Like, that's something that we're fighting with all the time because they stick to them traditions and they stick to just, we just gonna do it like how we doing it. So, you know, and I definitely feel that. I feel like I deal with that daily.
And that led to your depression? You saying like, it sounds like you were going through a lot, like, because I'm just kind of following your story and like kind of hearing, my counseling ear is coming in. I'm hearing the benchmarks of your depression as it escalates.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
Friend
That's
murdered,
what's crazy.
Grandfather passed away in a job that you feel unappreciated.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just following the story.
Right.
But it is funny because I tell this story, right? It's so funny. This is how I really think about depression, Eric. So funny. Des, what you pledge? What you?
Phi Beta Sigma.
Okay, so it's cool. You got Alpha, Sigma on you know. This is great. But let me tell you, y'all gonna really enjoy this story. So right before I moved to Nashville, and this is how I explain depression to people. Right before I moved to Nashville, it's 2007, and so me and my line brother, matter of fact, it was an Omega, and two other guys. We decided.
But you're a Kappa. I don't want nobody to get confused. Dacari is a Kappa.
Yeah.
It sound like you said me and my line brother, which is
my fault. Yeah. Let's be clear about that.
He a pretty boy. Come on now. He a pretty boy.
But But then, but we create this radio station, and it's funny because this radio station spun a lot of careers, like Travis Porter, 2 Chainz was on there, and to the point
station.
Where it was an online radio station.
Yeah, that's cool.
We did from the basement of my friend's home. And anyway, to celebrate our success, we decided to throw this big pool party. So we said, look, we're gonna throw this pool party and we're gonna make it really unique. We called up all our buddies. We called the Sigmas, the Alphas, the Qs, Kappas. We all got together and said, look, we didn't call any IOTAs. So if anybody's listening to IOTA, I apologize. I didn't know many of
at the time.
At the time, I know one, and I think he's a founding member.
God,
it's like a founder of the.
I know for a fact he's chartered a line.
A chapter.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, but again, we did this thing where we called each other and said, "Look, we're gonna make our favorite drinks, like our drink from so the Alphas got their punch, the Sigmas got their punch, and the Qs got their Ono." And so here I am, because I kind of helped put it together. I'm going around at the event being a taster. I'm like, hey, and the goal was whoever ran out of the drink first. Now that's kind of, when you think about it, it's like, it really didn't make sense because the Sigmas could have drunk all the juice, but we did really watch, you know what I'm saying, or the Alphas, y'all could have drunk all the juice or whatever yourselves, but we did watch, and we had people walking around and see. But one of the things we realized as I was being a taster or whatever, I was having a good time. And to this day, I've been looking for this picture of me really had this towel. I was acting a fool out there at the pool party. But I remember at the end of the day, we ended up getting a winner. Believe it or not, Eric, the Alphas did not win.
I can believe it. What y'all call y'all drink though? Was it Kappa Punch or something like that? Nuke juice. Okay.
Well, TSU they call it Kappa T. Don't they look at the
Kappa T.
They do it TSU.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, there's the Omegas didn't win, and I've had that oil before.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's disgusting. Disgusting.
It is. It is. Well, some of them make it really good though. I've had some good. Good. Believe it or not, the Kappas did not win, Dad.
Believe it or not,
that narrows it down.
The Sigmas won.
That blue juice gets you every time.
I ain't gonna lie to you, it was some of the best juice I had ever had. I knew when I said they're gonna win. You know, I knew it. I knew it. Like you know. It's like I know, and I made our juice. And I know our juice was good. But I was like, this juice is very unique. Make a long story short, this is how I explain depression. There was one moment where I remembered everything. I remembered making the juice. I remembered who won, but something happened in between. All I remember, Eric and Dez, is that I woke up the next day and I didn't know how I got there.
Where were you at?
I was at a friend's house. Wow. And I remember saying to them, I remember when I was here, but I don't know how I got here.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how depression worked in my life. In one moment, I was up here. Life was amazing. but I couldn't remember how I got there.
Yeah.
It was like taste after taste, sip after sip. I ended up in depression. And just like that party, I sipped from this space. And I just, my best friend died.
Yeah.
My grandfather died. I'm getting married. I'm working on, these are my sips. And all of a sudden, I wake up one day and I was broken and I didn't remember how I got here.
Yeah. Can I tell some of your story? So,
Yes.
because I don't want to run out of time.
Yeah.
Dacari found himself, and this is like a powerful part of your story, the exit. You know what I'm saying? The detour. And so Dacari has a story. All these sips that led up to him to a point to where he was ready to take his life, I believe, with the 357 revolver that you had. You took this same route to your therapist's office every day. Well, not every day, but every time. And you had a plan to take your life in your therapist in the parking lot so that someone could find you. And that struck me like, dang, man, what if I went out to the parking lot and saw one of my clients had committed suicide? Like that really struck me. But for some reason, that day that you had the plan and you were on your way to blow your brains out with this 357, but the exit that you would normally take was closed and you had to take a detour. And it was that detour that is the reason we're here today. Yeah. Am I telling that story?
It's the perfect story. And a lot of people, I did have one or two individuals say, well, if you really want to take your life, why didn't you do it? I said, when you have a plan to do it, it has to be executed perfectly.
In the way that you see it in your mind.
I put it in my mind. And that's when you know you're sick. Because that's really sick to say, if it didn't go like this, I stopped. But what happened as I got off the exit and I went block by block and I couldn't turn. And I tell the story, I pulled over in the parking lot. And here I am with tears in my eyes and I'm crying. And it was like God brought back to remembrance. It was a different type of grace that I experienced. It's fascinating. I tell this, it's the same grace when I was a little boy. It got me, y'all. My mom used to take us to amazing homes to view on Saturdays and Sundays, open houses. And it would be granite countertops and stainless steel appliances and just amazing places because we grew up in an underserved community. So we were seeing amazing things. And in that moment, it was like God brought back to my remembrance what my mom did. And I realized it was the grace, that same grace reminded me that the homes that I would view on Saturdays and Sundays, I was now living in one. Mm-hmm. My grandmother, who didn't learn to read until she was in the 8th grade, used to ride around neighborhoods with me in the car. And she would sing about Mercedes, I love me a Mercedes, the same car. And my grandmother sung about, I'm sitting in it. And it was that grace that hit me. I said, the reason why I can't quit and a lot of others can't quit is because you're benefactors of somebody else's grace, somebody else's prayers, somebody else that was standing in the gap for you and you didn't know. And that's when I realized I can't do this. I have a son at the time that was like 2 years old. And I'm like, I can't do this. And so that was the start of my recovery. Now, this is the part a lot of people don't know. I said I was married. I lost my marriage during that period, you know, and literally like I walked out of my marriage with a coffee table. But you know, the beauty of it all, while that was a painful experience, you know, I said this, Eric, when I first told this story, I said, I'm not healed, but I'm free. Yeah. And what I meant by that was I was still on this journey of recovery, but my freedom was I can now share my story. Well, I can say you are the first to hear this today on this show, is that today I can really confess to say I'm healed and I'm free.
Okay.
Man, that's awesome.
How'd you get to the healing, Dacari?
You're right.
Well, a couple of things. One, therapy, right? That's number one. It's something about having an experience with others that you probably can't talk to your mom or your cousin about, and really connecting with the right therapist. I went through 5, but it wasn't until I connected. And it's funny, this thing is real big about culture. I had to connect with somebody that was African American. And then I realized I needed a female. I grew up in a single parents household. What I needed in the beginning of my healing was nurturing. And my therapist, it wasn't that I needed another mother figure, but I kind of needed another mother to remind me that I was going back to Black college experience. you are great. Not that I didn't hear it, but for 3 years, not even, the 3 years where it really tipped me over, but for 3 years, I was in this space of complete darkness. And I needed somebody to remind me that you are somebody,
Mm-hmm.
And that I started with that. Then I reconnected with old friends, people who could call me by my middle name. Like literally like, man, I went to elementary school with you. Those people that knew me, not the guy that I had tried to create over the years, but somebody that truly knew me. And really, I just connecting with old friends, going to therapy, and then writing my story. Those three things really took me. Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how does someone like myself, help somebody that may be experiencing some of these type of depressions and some of those, it's like, how do you help? So I'm asking because literally just this morning I had, a fraternity brother that got in our group chat and expressed some of these that, he attempted to take his own life, and I just couldn't help to think that, I hardly check in on him. I hardly call and see how he's doing. And to know that, he was going through that. And it's like, how do you help somebody who's in that situation who may express that to you?
And you all will be the first to hear this. It was March of 2016 when I attempted my suicide, right? But May of 2016 of that year, I thought about it again, very heavy. And this is what happened. And this is my answer to you.
I hadn't heard you say this before. I've heard you say this many times, but I've never heard, like you said, I hadn't heard this.
I've never shared the second part of this. There was a guy who lives in Nashville. Matter of fact, one of your frat brothers did. His name is Dacari Pinson.
Okay.
Dacari literally sent me a text message the day I was thinking it through again. And said, hey, man, I'm just checking on you. I see you doing a lot. I just want to make sure you're okay.
Wow.
Just his words stopped me. The mere fact that he just checked in, the mere fact that he was present. He didn't know what I was experiencing, but sometimes a quick text or somebody thinking about you, being present, not offering, because you don't want to go to therapy, especially for somebody who's been going. You know what I'm saying? Like I was there inside of my therapist's office, like on the property. So it was literally, man, him checking on me, people randomly I would see people that would smile sometimes would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I needed to be around people who could give life. And sometimes seeing people, it can have a reverse effect too. Sometimes you can see people happy and you ask yourself, why are they so happy? Don't they know what's going on? But for me, it was seeing life, because remember I told you I was a happy guy. So seeing people happy started to help me with my, my happiness. Yeah. And so just being present, just a mere text. Sometimes people need to know that you're thinking about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that struck me. I don't know why that just struck me, but you know why? I do know why. It's because we're in this space right now as Black men where we need to check on each other. Just check on your boys, man, because the hitting you up is what, again, like you're saying it. That's what stopped me from, wanting to take my life. Just a simple, hey, I'm just checking in. And so when you see it online, like I've seen this a lot where someone put a post like, hey, brothers, let's check in. How you doing?
Yeah.
You see it a lot in the groups that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And that stuff, it seems like, oh, man, just another post. But that post could be saving somebody's life. That simple text could be saving somebody's life, bro. It's like we got to look out for each other.
And then you talked about your friend, and I said this before we really recorded. Going back to the group chat. This is something we have to pay attention to. We have to be intentional when you talk about checking in on people. My frat brothers, I'm the silly one. Yeah. For almost 2 years, I didn't speak in our group chat. No one thought about it.
Yeah.
No one thought, wait a minute, where's the guy that's coming with the jokes or the memes and I stopped sharing. That should have been a sign. But I know everybody's in their own world. And so you're like, well, he probably don't want to be on Group Me no more and all that. But that for me is, like right now I have a line brother that I know is wrestling through some things, and he didn't come to our 15-year homecoming. And he is one of the top dogs when it comes to homecoming planning and all of that. And I said, something's wrong. I got to get to New York to see about him. And then COVID hit because I was planning. I'm like, I can't go at the end of last year, but I'm coming in the beginning of this year to make sure I'm one of those friends where I'm gonna come find you, you know, because I know what that's like when people just don't know. So I think paying attention, like when the last time you really talked to a person?
Yeah.
You know, when's the last time you actually seen them visible, especially if they're very Instagram? Like, and you know what's funny? I went back through my Instagram, Eric, and I looked at my progression. I actually told people what was happening in my world. People just didn't see the quotes.
How were you telling them? How were you telling them?
I was telling them in my quote. I remember I posted a picture one time and said, "It might not be okay."
That
was my caption.
You just saying that. You just saying that because you know that's how you feeling, and
that's how I'm feeling. And when people like it, they liking the picture. Wow, dope. And they're not here. And I'm telling you the story. My pictures, and a lot of people don't realize when you start seeing a lot of black and white photos on Instagram, and you know a person is live, it ain't a lot of times it's not them just trying to be creative. A lot of times they're telling you I'm in a dark spot. A lot of my photos became black and whites.
Yeah.
I was telling people, yeah. You gotta just pay attention, be intentional.
That's crazy. That's crazy to even like think about. You know what I'm saying? To man, look now I'm on social media. It's like, you know, and I know that you know, every single person, it may not be going through that. It may be a creative thing, but just, you know, like how you mentioned, you know, if there's a sudden change from people that you notice, like you being silly, or, you know, you not commenting or putting yourself out there as much, that may be a sign that maybe they're going through something. And kind of taking notice of that type of stuff. So I'm definitely going to start doing stuff like that, you know, with the people that I surround myself with, noticing some of the things that they may be posting on social media, or just, you know, just checking in. You know, I think that's the biggest thing. Just check in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man, look, Dacari, I think we might even have you on the show again because this is a topic that's not going away. And we got to get comfortable with talking about these things. That's why we have you on, to share your story. You're a regular guy. You know, we're normalizing this thing. And the most important part, which goes back to the post that we shared, you could talk to somebody. It's okay to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be that person that's calling and checking in on your folks, man, because we need it. 84 men kill themselves a week.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Yep. And I know we're closing up, but I tell y'all, man, I had a friend last week that attempted suicide. I'm so glad he failed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad.
Man.
I'm glad he failed.
You know, I'm glad he failed.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who you are, but wherever you are, man, you have a reason to live.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dang. Des, what you got, man? I think this is a good place to go ahead and begin.
Right.
Putting the ball on this one.
But I definitely want to, you know,
man. What's the takeaway from this show for you, Des?
I think the biggest one for me, and this is something that's, you know, been on my mind, is when I mentioned about, you know, the group chat situation. I think that's just being able to check in on the folks. I think that's a huge takeaway out of this whole conversation, and realize that, you know, we're all struggling. I honestly don't even know yet what he's struggling with. You know what I'm saying? Because we're still in a pandemic. Folks still, you know, don't have jobs. They're not getting, you know, financially secure like they want to, or they may be dealing with some type of illness, some type of sickness. But, you know, you never know what people are going through. And just being able to have an opportunity to reach out to that person, check in, give them just that simple text like you experienced, Dacari, you know, just saying, hey, man, just thinking about you, just want to see how you doing. Something like that, as simple as that, can save, you know, another man's life. Man. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Good thing.
What about you, Eric? Don't just try to hit me with a question.
That's the takeaway.
What's your takeaway?
That's the takeaway. Check in on folks and don't be afraid to reach out for help. And I actually want to leave this. I will be remiss if I didn't leave the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, because somebody might be listening to this show. The thing I noticed when we did that post, there were people who were actually talking about, hey, I needed to hear this. I needed to see this. There were people sent us messages that said they needed help. And what I was doing, I was connecting them with resources in the area. I'm like, where are you at? What city are you in? Let me connect you with a resource. And so I want to give out this hotline, 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255 is a number that you can call if you are struggling with wanting to take your own life. Dacari, as always, bro, we appreciate you coming to the show, sharing your story. I know it's transformative for people. I've seen you do this. I've seen it, as I mentioned, when you came to TSU. I've seen it. I received the feedback from the people who've come and the lives that you've changed. You've heard it while you were there. They would say and share their stories. And so, man, I think it's the stories that help enrich other people's lives, and this actually what saves lives. So thank you for being with us today. Man, I think this is a good place for us to end. For all of you on EMH Now, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you chiming in on that particular post. We want to invite everybody to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel.
Yep.
What's the name of our show? I say, what's the name? Experience Health.
This man said, "What's the name?"
On YouTube. Follow the show. It's a lifestyle show. It's about hearing stories and making the changes in your own life. We appreciate you guys in the Text Club. Yep. Actually, we talked about closing down the Text Club. We're gonna keep it going. So don't worry about that.
Can't make your mind up. Look,
it's
gonna keep it going.
Our mind's made up. We're gonna keep the Text Club going. And we appreciate all of you guys listening. And if there's nothing else we want to share, I want to leave this with everybody. I say it every week, every show. Mm-hmm. Make it a great day. Make it a great day.
Yeah. Hey, man, appreciate y'all.
You got it, bro.
Yep. All right. Peace. Hey, guys, if you really enjoyed that episode, make sure that you like and comment, as well as subscribe to the Experience Mental Health Podcast, because this is the #1 mental health podcast in the nation.